Hi everyone, it is Dr. Guerra and welcome to another Mujeres Monday. It is my version of Monday Motivation. Today is a really special Monday. It is Indigenous Peoples Day, so I wanted to especially talk about ancestors and kind of honoring our Indigenous connections. I know for many of us, we have been kind of disconnected from our families, our Indigenous roots, etc. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit today. So I'm going to start off actually with a message. I was planning to do this at the end, but I'm feeling called to do it now. So I chose the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. There we go. So I will shuffle the cards. I already blessed them. I cleansed them with sage before I started the video, but I'm going to shuffle them and see what our message is for today. Let's see. This one. Okay. Turtle Spirit. You can't make this up. Y'all, I saw this earlier when I first was blessing the cards. And I was like, oh, how cool would it be to get Turtle Spirit? And Spirit heard me. So there we go. I'm going to read the meaning so these are not, what are they called? These are not like regular tarot cards. These are oracle cards, which are a little different. So each animal has a meaning. Each animal spirit has a meaning. So let's see what Turtle Spirit has to say. Give me 1 second, folks. I'm going to read from the book, the guidebook. Okay. So Turtle Spirit, slow and steady wins the race. Oracle message, Turtle Spirit arrives to remind you that when you do what you need to do, putting one foot in front of the other and trusting that you will see your intentions manifest in perfect timing, your prosperity and love will grow exponentially. Now is not the time to rush around trying to force matters. Move slowly, perhaps even more slowly than it almost feels you're not moving at all. This may be a time to crawl before walking, taking your time to align to Turtle Spirit's place as you contemplate this road that you're on, doing what you need to do. Turtle Spirit reminds you that sometimes the best action is to slow down. Wow, this is amazing. So I'm going to read the protection message also. So pushing too hard or rushing to leave others in the dust is not the way of Turtle Spirit, even if it seems at times that it is the way of the world. This makes sense. Yes. All right. So that is a great message. It's true, especially in our American culture, U.S. society, everything is rush, rush, rush. Everything is go, go, go. I tend to be a very impatient person. Let's get it done. Hurry up. Which is not always the best approach, to be sure. So the Turtle Spirit is calling us to slow down a little bit this week. So as we are, entering into the fall time, and actually it makes sense. We're getting into winter. Winter is a time of hibernation, of slowing down, slowing way down. So I think that this makes a lot of sense. So I wanted to invite us today, as far as our Mujeres Motivation, Monday Motivation, to think about the ways in which you can make small steps this winter towards your dreams. So one of the things that I think happens to a lot of us is we sort of can put off our plans until January 1, right? For many of us, it's like, oh, I'm going to start bike riding January 1. I'm going to start learning how to cook January 1. I'm going to do all these things January 2025. It's going to be awesome. It's like, well, no time like the present, right? There's so much opportunity to get started. And again, I think that the Turtle Spirit is reminding us that this doesn't have to happen all at once. This doesn't have to be done all in one day, but we can kind of take our time and slowly reflect on what steps need to be done. Because it's true, sometimes when we move a little bit more slowly, we're able to catch the things that we might have missed had we been rushing. That whole idea of stop and smell the flowers, right? You can't smell the flowers if you're running right by. You can't stop and smell the flowers if you're, zooming by in the car or things like that. So I do think there's some wisdom there as far as like taking your time and reflecting on what is the next best step. So I would invite us to consider this. So, what are the ways in which we can slow down and better prepare for our next best step? This week on the podcast, I interviewed Doctora Arfuso, and one of the things that we talked a lot about was grief and mourning, and how a big issue that many of us face is that we don't have time to grieve, or we don't have time to mourn. And this can be a literal death, right? A literal passing of a person, passing of a loved one, a pet, etc., to where, our society kind of rushes us through and we don't actually have time to mourn. So in our conversation, which you will be able to check out, the podcast will be released on Wednesday. I release the audio episodes on Wednesdays. Our conversation on ways in which to resist that, right? So being revolutionary or resisting, these systems, part of it means slowing down, part of it means pushing back against the rush. I know this can be easier said than done, but there are ways in which we can do that. I have had to slow way down in terms of what I get done, what I would like to get done in a day, all that kind of stuff. In a recent post for World Mental Health Day, I shared and have shared publicly before that I was diagnosed with bipolar during the pandemic. So talk about like a total shutdown, a total slowing down of everything that I know. And I've had to shift. I've had to kind of reimagine my workflow. People love that word, workflow. I've had to rethink, my priorities as far as like, what tasks do I need to accomplish today? What can I kind of wait until the next day? What do I need to ask for help with? That's been very challenging too for me. I don't like asking for help. I hate asking for help. I'm a person who likes to take care of everything on their own. So being forced to slow down and being forced to like really ask for help and learning to say no, right? Good old boundaries, learning to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. No, I'm sorry, I can't write that article right now, or whatever the case may be in your own life, in your own circumstances, is finding ways to navigate that in the name of self-care, in the name of self-care. Not that we don't want to do these things, but it's really, becomes a question of mental health and stability and keeping like even keeled and not feeling totally overwhelmed or totally anxious. So this is my words of wisdom for you today. I hope that you have a wonderful week. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day again. Please support the Indigenous communities on social media, be it on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, etc. This is definitely near and dear to my heart because my mom's side of the family is from Guatemala. And although I don't know if we specifically have Indigenous roots because I have not done like a DNA test, but I will say that at least 50% of the Guatemalan population is Indigenous of some background, mostly Mayan. And so coming from that culture, at the very least, my grandparents are from Guatemala and they're probably the ancestors now, but it's always been really important to me to kind of honor that Indigenous culture and heritage. So thanks so much, folks, for listening. Please help me spread this word. I think that there's a lot of wisdom here that can really help people. So I appreciate you sharing my content and subscribing to help others too. Thanks so much. Bye.